Thanks for that, Paolo. Speaking of Judy Chu, the incumbent beat her challenger Jack Orswell by a whopping 64 to 36% in 2012 for the 27th congressional seat. But can she get out the vote for the same results this time? We spoke with Jack Orswell last time on our show, and now Judy Chu joins us to tell us her plan. Thanks for being here, Congresswoman.
Thank you for having me.
And my first main question is, do you have a clone or something? Because you're seriously everywhere. You were just at the PUSD school lunch. You've been at the San Gabriel's with President Obama.
Oh, yes.
How are you everywhere?
Oh, well, it's just an honor to be in this district, which is so active and doing so many great things.
Okay. So tell us, I mean, you've been an elected official for quite some time now. All we hear is about how dysfunctional Congress is. Why do you want to keep continuing with this? Is this fun for you still?
Well, it is an honor to represent this district in Washington, D.C. Actually, there are many things that we're getting done, but those are the things that don't get the headlines. You do see the dysfunctional part of it, but I enjoy the fact that we have been able to get some of these things done.
Do you feel like you're able to work with the other side, or is it as divided as they say?
No, I have actually been able to work with the other side on issues that don't get the headlines, such as protecting copyright, stopping patent trolls who are blackmailing people for funds through lawsuits. These kinds of issues that kind of affect people on an everyday basis.
So one of your most recent initiatives, getting President Obama to declare the San Gabriel Mountains a national monument. For some, though, this has been an ongoing for a number of years, actually 11 years,
yes.
More than 11 years it took you to get that passed. That's amazing. What took so long for this to happen?
Well, we did have to go through the process. So it started with then Congressmember Hilda Solis introducing a bill 11 and a half years ago to study it officially. It took 10 years for that study to be completed, so we waited patiently. As soon as it was completed, I worked on a bill. I got feedback from all the stakeholders in this area and then submitted it. But this particular House Natural Resources Committee is pretty hostile to parks. They just don't want any parks, don't want any monuments or anything. That's why I asked President Obama to officially designate it a national monument.
Wow.
Because it was pretty divided. You know, you had a lot of people supporting it, but you also had quite a lot of people against this. And a lot of people felt like, you know, at the very end, although it's been an ongoing issue, that it felt rushed and kind of snuck in. I mean, why did it have to be that process at the end?
Well, actually, 80% of the people support this. We did a poll and found that 80% of the people of Los Angeles County support it and have been waiting for it for a long time. Now, those that protested it were very noisy. And in fact, the same people kept on saying the same things over and over again, even though we disproved what they said. They said this would take away your land, this would take away your water. It was all totally untrue.
Okay. Now, switching gears a little bit about Ebola, you know, I mean, we're so obsessed with this at this point. And it's really creating a political divide here in this country. But you're pushing for confirmation for a Surgeon General.
Yes.
Dr. Vivek Murtha. But, you know, how are we able to get an Ebola czar confirmed before a Surgeon General? Isn't that what his role would have been?
True, and I think it's just horrendous that we don't have a Surgeon General who is really in charge of looking at the health of this country. And Dr. Vivek Murthy is really qualified, so I think it's really a shame that he wasn't appointed. But the difference is that Dr. Murthy would have had to have been approved by the Senate, whereas this czar was just appointed by the president.
And if he's being stalled, you know, if the process to confirm him is stalled, are there any other people who, you know, are in the running?
I'm sure that they have other nominees waiting, but they don't want to give up on Dr. Vivek Murthy.
Okay. Just lastly, you know, in LA County, they're talking about raising the minimum wage. I mean, that's such a big topic. But a lot of businesses are saying, you know, I know there was a Greenblatt's deli recently who said, I'm going to go out of business if this happens. How do we, you know, balance this as far as, you know, getting living wages for people, but also letting businesses thrive?
Well, we have a serious problem in this country. We are actually at the greatest income inequality in the last 100 years. And America has been built on a strong middle class. If you have a strong middle class, they buy the goods. So I really actually think if people have more money in their hands, they will buy the goods at Greenblatt's Deli. They will actually bring the consumer price index up.
And do you think there's going to be any kind of, growing pains from when they finally get the money in hand and are finally shopping to what the businesses are able to manage in the meantime?
Well, I think it should be phased in. I think that there should be ways of making sure that businesses can handle it. But I do think ultimately it will make America a stronger country.
Well, operating in Los Angeles, LA County, providing insurance fringes, insurance benefits for people in addition to their minimum wage. That's really that's a huge nut for a small business owner.
Yes. Well, there are certainly all kinds of initiatives that can help small businesses in other ways. But I think the main thing is making sure that consumers have the buying power. And especially those who are at the lower income level, when they get the funds, they spend it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to wrap it up at this point. We hope that you'll be able to join us again. We wish you the best of luck going into these elections, and I know we'll see you all over town.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here.
Representative Chu.